Hey guys, now there was a tie when we voted. You told your mommies and daddies what you guys wanted me to read, and you picked the monster at the end of this book. But then the hungry thing and caps for sale both had 2 votes, so we had a tie. And so I read this one, caps for sale, and right now I'm going to read the hungry thing. This book was written by Jan Slepian and Anne Seidler, and the pictures by Richard E. Martin. Let's see, there's the hungry thing. It's going inside inside, not sure where he's going. Through the gate. One morning, the hungry thing came to town, and he sat on his tail, and he pointed to the sign around his neck that said, "Feed me." The townspeople gathered around to see the hungry thing. "What would you like to eat?" asked the townspeople. "Schmancakes," answered the hungry thing. "Schmancakes," cried the townspeople. "How do you eat them? What could they be?" This is a rhyming book, so there's some guessing. You guys get to help me figure out what he's saying. "Why, dear me," said the wise man, "schmancakes, that's plain, are a kind of a chicken that falls with the rain." "Of course," said the cook, "schmancakes, I've read, are better to eat when you stand on your head." "I think," said the little boy, "you're all very silly. Schmancakes sound like fan cakes, sound like, what do they sound like? Pancakes to me." So the townspeople gave the hungry thing some, and the hungry thing ate them all up. And then the hungry thing pointed to his sign that said, "Feed me." "What would you like to eat?" asked the townspeople. "Tickles," answered the hungry thing. "Tickles?" cried the townspeople. "How do you eat them? What can they be?" "Why, dear me," said the wise man, "tickles, you know, are a curly-tailed hot dog that grow in a row." "Of course," said the cook. "Tickles taste yummy, and you giggle and laugh with 10 in your tummy." "I think," said the little boy, "it's very clear. Tickles sound like sickles, sound like what? What does it sound like? Pickles to me." And they gave the hungry thing some, and the hungry thing ate them all up. There he is eating all the pickles. Or tickles. "He's underfed." "Have some bread," said the lady dressed in red. "It seems to me he'd like some tea," said the fellow up the tree. "A bit of rice might be nice," said the baby sucking ice. The hungry thing just shook his head, and he pointed to the sign that said, "Feed me." And the townspeople tried again. "What would you like to eat?" asked the townspeople. "Feetloaf," answered the hungry thing. "Feetloaf?" cried the townspeople. "How do you eat it? What can it be?" "Why, dear me," said the wise man, "feetloaf, let's see, it's a kind of a shoe pudding that grows on a tree." "Of course," said the cook, "feetloaf tastes sweet, and it's eaten by kings when they dine in bare feet." "I think," said the little boy, "you ought to know. Feetloaf sounds like beetloaf, sounds like, what does it sound like? Meatloaf to me." Hang on just a second, because I have to go back. I just saw something in a picture that I thought was funny. Look at that. You can see the baby sucking ice. I don't think I ever noticed that in this book, and I've read this book a lot of times. That's silly. Okay, meatloaf to me. So the townspeople gave the hungry thing some, and the hungry thing ate them all up, and he pointed to his sign that said, "Feed me." "What would you like to eat this time?" asked the townspeople. "Hookies," answered the hungry thing. "Hookies?" cried the townspeople. "How do you eat them? What can they be?" "Hookies," said the wise man, are known in far lands, a special spaghetti to eat holding hands. Hookies, said the cook, are a party dish to serve to a guest if it isn't a fish. I think, said the little boy, that is very simple. Hookies sound like lookies, sound like, what does it sound like? Cookies to me. The townspeople gave the hungry thing some, and he ate them all up. And then he got to his feet, and he smiled, and he patted his mouth on the line of laundry, and he turned around 3 times. It's true. He's all through, asked the lady dressed in blue. Let's all say goodbye, said the man with the can. Come again, said some men. But the hungry thing just sat down again, and he pointed to his sign that said, feed me. What do you want to eat? Asked the townspeople.
Gollipops.
Gollipops, cried the townspeople. How do you eat them? What can they be? What do you think gollipops are? Oh, dear me, said the wise man. Gollipops are new. They're a cereal shaped like they are cereal shaped like toys and sugar-coated too. Children, said the cook, buy them by the dozens and trade off the box tops with classmates and cousins. I think, said the boy, you ought to hear that gollipops sound like dollypops. Sound like, what does it sound like? What do you think? Lollipops to me, said the townspeople, gave the hungry thing some, and the hungry thing ate them all up, and he pointed to his sign again. Oh, please, said the people, we've been here all day. Isn't there a quicker way? I think, said the boy, that there is. Have some noodles, the little boy asked the hungry thing, and the hungry thing just shook his head. Oh, excuse me, I meant to say foodles. The hungry thing smiled and ate them all up. Just look, said the cook. Let's all try, was the cry. So they all got busy. Have some smello. And they gave him some what? Jello. Have some thread. And they gave him some bread. Have a banana. And they gave him what? A banana. The hungry thing ate and ate, and he looked very full. Is there anything more that we can give you? The townspeople wanted to know. The hungry thing politely covered a hiccup. He thought for a while, and then he said, boop with a smacker. Boop with a smacker. What's that? Boop with a smacker? Boop with a smacker? What is that? Said the townspeople asked. The boy whispered to the wise men, and the wise men whispered to the cook, and the cook gave the hungry thing, what did he give him? Soup with a cracker. And the hungry thing ate them all up, and he smiled, and he got to his feet, and he wiped his mouth on the cook's hat, and just as he left, he turned his sign around. And in big letters, the sign said, thank you. The end. That's a fun book. See if you guys can find some things at home that are rhyming, just like in the book. Thanks. Bye, guys.